Hey, what's going on? Welcome to this video where we are going to take a look at this Swamp Thing figure from DC Multiverse and McFarlane Toys. It's quite large and heavy, and it looks great. Look at this. This is the best Swamp Thing action figure I have ever seen. Let's start with the box. Okay, around the front, you have a big open plastic window. Yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. That was disgusting. I hope you couldn't hear that. It was pretty gross. DC Multiverse Swamp Thing. McFarlane Toys. Just not a lot to this packaging, is there? I mean, we could do a comparison. This is a review video, right? I mean, I'm allowed to bitch, or not? I'm allowed to bitch. Okay, hold on. Let me just show you something. So when we're doing these videos, especially when we're buying this, we're reviewing this contemporary stuff, new stuff that's out there now that you can buy, and this figure is out there now. And sorry about that, Etrigan. This figure's out there now, and you can find it on sale, like I did, and it's a good price. Definitely a good price for this currently. If you can find it, I would do it. It's been a couple years since this came out. I'd say about 2 years. So we looked at that packaging. You see, it's all black. There's a big opening in the front, which is nice. You get to see the figure. That's cool. And then you got that nice picture on the back. That's cool. So you could say that maybe simplicity is what do they say? Brevity is the heart of wit, or something like that. I don't know. But so he's looked at that box. Look at the packaging for what a G.I. Joe looks like. This is what a G.I. Joe comes in. You got the open window box, but you get this original art on every single figure. Every figure has original art specific to the character. On the back, they always have this big giant picture. Isn't that cool? That would make a neat poster, wouldn't it? Maybe they made that as a poster. Anyway, that's what a G.I. Joe package looks like. Now let's take a look at what the DC Multiverse's direct competition is. So this is the box from that Thor figure that we looked at a couple weeks ago. It's got the big open plastic window in the front so you can see the figure. That's great. It's got all this stuff here. But then look, original artwork specific to the character and the figure. It's kind of nice. I just like this packaging more than this packaging. I like that picture there, the figure, but it's just a picture of the figure. And it's also the exact same card. It's the picture of the same picture that's on the inside. It's on the card that you get. It's always the same. You always get a card and a little stand that really doesn't work very well. And in this case, I don't even know why. It seems stupid because he doesn't need a stand. So that's the packaging. Now let's get to the figure. Like I said, you can find this out there right now on sale, and I would definitely jump on it if you're interested. This guy is big. He stands 11 and a half, 12 inches tall. Very large. It's really cool. Which is let's start, since let's do the bitching right off the bat. So the complaints that you'll hear from me about this figure and from other people about this figure. This figure came out a couple years ago, and when it came out, people were talking about how it's the wrong size. So he's in this line, right? He's supposed to be a 7-inch scale figure. So this is the demon from the exact same line that he's in. There's even a picture of this demon figure on the back of that box in a little square down here. So he's too tall for 7-inch tall figures. This guy's 7 inches tall, and this guy's 12 inches tall. Now it doesn't look. I mean, look. Let's look at what they looked like in the comic. It's almost kind of similar size-wise, maybe a little bit, but anyway, this makes him like over 10 feet tall in scale. So it doesn't make all that much sense because he shouldn't be that tall. Swamp Thing's about 7 feet tall, if that. So that's the problem with the figure. The figure comes in at 11 and a half, 12 inches tall. If it was just 1 inch taller or even 2 inches taller, if it was 1 inch or 2 inches taller, and what would that have cost? Would have been pennies for the extra plastic, and it probably would have been a couple clicks on the computer to size this thing up, to put it into actual 6th scale and just say, screw it with this 7-inch scale line. We're already investing this time and this money to this beautiful design of this fantastic Swamp Thing figure. Why not give the people what they want? Make him a little bigger. If we're not going to make him smaller, make him bigger so then he could actually fit in with 12-inch scale figures. Because I mean, he's almost the size of a 12-inch scale figure. Look at him next to our Michael Myers from last week. He's just a little bit smaller than Michael Myers. See that? But Michael Myers is a large figure. I guess he's more than a little bit smaller than Michael Myers. He needs to be bigger, or he needs to be smaller. Unless you're like me and you don't really care that much because you just want a good Swamp Thing figure, which is all I wanted, was a good Swamp Thing figure. I'm okay that he's a little too small, and I'm okay that he's a little bit too big. Just pointing it out, though. Fantastic sculpt, design, and paint from McFarlane on this. There's one loose joint out of the box on this, and it right off the bat, like what? Yeah, okay, that could be better. I'm not sure how. Other people don't always. It's weird. I don't know the exact technical quality control issue to fix something like that, but not every company has a problem in that area. So it's a bummer when you come across that problem. Wow, he's great. Look at all this plant life and growth and stuff on him. This looks perfect. It looks like a combination. To me, it looks like a combination of both Bernie Wrightson's interpretation and art on the Swamp Thing, but then it also looks like Stephen Bissett and John Toddlebin's version of Swamp Thing, and then maybe it's somebody else's. I haven't even read yet. We're going to look at some Swamp Thing comics in a second, and I'll tell you that, this is a great character. That's why I'm so happy to have this figure. And some of you out there that are Swamp Thing fans, if you haven't seen this figure yet, this is a really cool, like I said, this is probably the best interpretation that we've ever got of Swamp Thing. And he's big and he's heavy, and he's on sale right now. All right, so let's do some articulation testing, shall we? Get a up close and personal look. Turn that way to the left. Turn to the right. To the left. He can look down just a little bit. He can't look up at all. That's all you get. So if you want to increase his field, his vision, and make him look like he's raising his head up, with this figure, you have to kind of do that at the waist. Is there anything here? Very little. So if you just kind of pull him back at the waist, then that will increase his line of sight, if that makes sense. But for the most part, he's looking down, which is not that great. But you saw how good he looks standing up. It's not even noticeable. You don't need him to look down. He's looking straight ahead when you got him standing up. Now, the arms are on, I guess, ball joints with butterfly joints. See this? Nice. These are nice. They go in and out a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. These big, great claws. A little bit of movement here at the elbows. There's enough movement here with this awesome, elaborate, beautiful sculpt that you can really get some great poses with this. Now, also, because of his size and his heftiness, now coming down here, you got some, you saw that he's on also, torso is on like a sort of ball joint here plugged in, it looks like. So you can get all kinds of movement here. This piece is soft. You heard that. Did you hear it? And moving down. This is a problem. This right here, these knees should be tighter. That's a problem. Saw that. The knees can't, for some reason, the joints aren't tight enough, so they're not supporting the weight of the figure's structure. So what you have to do when you stand the figure up, as is the case sometimes dealing with Todd McFarlane toys, is that you have to really work to get a stable stance sometimes. We would like it just to be simple. Wouldn't it be nice just to be able to stand him up effortlessly? No, that's not the game we're playing here. The game we're playing is that the collector is going to spend his hard-earned dollars on pieces of plastic that sometimes don't work out of the box. It really sucks. But anyway, at least it's McFarlane is not as bad as NECA. So it's okay. It's not. I don't want to sound. I always feel like I'm bitching about this guy's toy company. Anyway, he makes some really good stuff. Really, really great stuff. Super, really cool stuff. The Mortal Kombat stuff, the Spawn stuff. That's really, really cool. It looks great. It's fantastic. It's neat stuff. The Warhammer, love it. Some of this DC stuff is great. I love this figure. That's why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I know that there's people out there that that subscribe to my channel and that might watch my videos that love this character and that don't really care about how he scales with other figures or some of the bitches and complaints that I have, because really you just want this figure to be a display on your shelf for your Swamp Thing comics. That's how I am about it. I mean, I'm bitching about that other stuff, but it's kind of my job here to do that. I'm supposed to be making comparisons and, you know, and there might be, you know, you understand. You understand. I'm super happy with this figure. If you're interested in it, go check out bigbadtoystore.com, and they have it on sale currently. This is some of the really, really good Swamp Thing reading. This is the Saga of Swamp Thing, book 1 from Vertigo graphic novel. Alan Moore, Stephen Bissett, John Toddleben. This is good. This is the Swamp Thing of the 80s. But where you want to start is the Swamp Thing of the 70s. Bernie Wrightson. These are just reprints, but they make it makes it affordable if you can find these reprints of all this great original Swamp Thing stuff. It's less expensive than buying the originals. We're going to look through. So look at how faithful. You can really see what a great job McFarlane did with this sculpt. I mean, it really looks just like our guy. I mean, that looks just like the figure. Very well done. I recently watched the Swamp Thing movie. The one from, I guess, the early 80s, maybe. Came out in 82 or something like that. I enjoyed that movie a lot. I liked it. I remembered liking it when it came out, and I enjoyed the rewatch just the other night. Oh, look at these. Remember these? So these are the comics, the Alan Moore Swamp Thing. And I have a few of these, and they were given to me by a friend of mine in the Army who had them. And he's like, hey, read these, man. These are really good. And he just gave them to me. I said, you want these back? He's like, nah, just keep them. Because he already read them. Remember how that used to work? You ever have friends that did that, who read their comics and then just gave them to you? Yeah, I did. There's Etrigan right there. That's cool. So one thing I took away from that Swamp Thing movie was the performance of Adrienne Barbeau. Adrienne Barbeau is fantastic in the Swamp Thing movie. I recommend you go watch that Swamp Thing movie. And if there was one thing that I would like that I could add, oh, look at that. Isn't that great? Look at that. Is that we'll talk about the accessories. So he doesn't come with any accessories. He just has this thing, which you unplug one of his hands and put that in there, and it's like some sort of you get it, piece of plant matter that he's going to smash into some henchman's skull or something through their eye socket or something like that. Probably what's going to happen. But I would have preferred, or it would be nice if they would follow this figure up with an Adrienne Barbeau figure. Preferably one where she's wet in the swamp and he's carrying her, where he can carry her. See, sort of like that. But if we could make it Adrienne Barbeau. So I thought about that, but then I thought there could be a design problem. McFarlane is already having a hard. Oh, look, this is a cool one. This is something that came later. It's an enemy ace appearance. They're already having enough problem making these figures stand up. So let alone let them trying to make an Adrienne Barbeau figure and it not toppling over. I'd like to see that happen. This is when Richard Corbin was working on Swamp Thing a few years ago. And then again, we'll finish it up with this cool picture here from Swamp Thing Annual #2 of our guy Swamp Thing and his buddy the Demon right back there. They're not really buddies. They're just kind of commiserators in most instances. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed looking at this figure. This is awesome. Really great figure. If it made more sense, I would probably buy 2 of these, maybe 3 or 4. Maybe the whole collection would just like it used to be that this whole collection almost became nothing but Pulsar figures. Thinking about making all the comics just nothing but ROM #1. And now I'm thinking about just making every action figure just this Swamp Thing. So I'll just replace everything in just a wall of Swamp Things. That's a terrible idea. But this figure is actually that good that you're going to want this, and you're going to want to put this on your Swamp Thing shelf in front of your Swamp Thing stuff. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you later.